You're watching News 24 Live. A rather subdued performance from New Zealand handed Australia a 7-wicket win and their 5th World Cup title on Sunday. However, back home, there still seems to be some sour grapes with claims that there was political interference in team selection for the Proteas side against New Zealand in the semi-final. To discuss this issue further, I have our sports experts, Garen Lamley and Rob Howing. Gents, good morning.
Morning, Nick.
You guys had an article up how Cricket South Africa denied political interference. Before we discuss that, Rob, I want to ask you, morning of the semi-final, when you saw the team sheet, what did you make of Vernon Philander's selection ahead of Kyle Abbott?
I was surprised. I did think that Kyle Abbott was going to keep his place. Just on the fairly noble grounds of, don't tamper with a winning team. South Africa had put in a monstrously powerful performance to beat Sri Lanka in the quarterfinals. So the last thing you sort of felt that was necessary to be done was to actually sort of destroy that equilibrium. Even just changing one player, it just takes away, just psychologically, you just sort of feel, well, they've now tampered with the winning side. And when that happens, it is a little bit of a sort of a ripple. I feel for Vernon Philander. Let's not, make any bones about that, because he's a quality cricketer. And the argument also about him giving a little bit more depth to the batting is something you have to take in, because I think he's an underrated batsman. So he would have given a little bit of more depth. But Kyle Abbott he's oozed kind of purpose, aggression, capability really in the games that he's played at this World Cup. And I think a lot of people were absolutely amazed. I mean, I saw the flurry of immediate sort of incredulous tweets that came out when the South African team took to the field. And it kind of, let's put it this way, it set the tone for the events that transpired, unfortunately. And you've got to say that because Vernon his fitness was in doubt, that really is the crux of the issue. It's not a fit Vernon Philander. This was a clearly not fully fit Vernon Philander. And that made the crucial difference potentially in the end.
Garen, the article that you published on Sport 24 this morning, what has the public reaction been to that? Cricket South Africa denying political interference in team selection?
I think it's a little bit split, to be honest. It's been almost 6 days since we played this quarterfinal, and as you asked Rob, when I woke up, I was also pretty shocked. Twitter was pretty shocked as well. I think ahead of the tournament, the strongest 11 would have had a Philander in it. The fact that he was then, had a hamstring issue, and then Abbott came in and played really well, sort of led everyone to believe that should have been the team that started the semi-final. I think maybe the weather conditions, Philander, he swings the ball a little bit more than an Abbott would, and like Rob said, we've always had an issue with our batting depth. We thought Philander would have added more had he come in at number 7 or 8, wherever they fitted him in, had he batted. So, a split, a lot of people would have said Philander is the better cricketer, he's a better all-rounder than Abbott. It's difficult to say that Abbott would have played any better. It certainly would have been the biggest game of his life, having, a World Cup semi-final. Philander has played Australia in crunch test matches and ODIs before, so he's sort of been there, done that. It's difficult to know. The selectors wouldn't have known that he would have broken down a little bit. It's after 7 or 8 overs. I think he bowled 8 in the end, which was the maximum he was allowed to bowl after the rain. Curtailed their innings. Nobody could bowl 10. I think 2 could bowl 9, and I think 2 had already bowled 9. So he only bowled 8, which was his maximum. It's difficult to say how many more runs Abbott might have conceded or not conceded. I certainly don't think the game was won or lost there, but it's sort of that issue that always just won't go away. Had we won the World Cup, nobody would have been mentioning this at all. Had Philander taken 3 for, we wouldn't have been mentioning this at all either. So I think, some people looking in the emotion of the defeat, saying definitely shouldn't have changed a winning team. Others sort of saying, would it really have made much of a difference? So I think the opinion is divided. I don't want to say it's 50-50, but it seems like there are arguments for both sides.